I've handled over 4,000 decedents, 4,000 and change, if I'm being honest, because after a certain point, you stop counting individuals and start counting years. 30 years in the business, third generation. My grandfather converted the old Bricker schoolhouse into a funeral home in 1952, and my father ran it until his knees gave out, and I ran it until, well, I photograph every intake, every single one. Started in '89 when I took over, Polaroid camera, one shot of the face, one of any identifying marks, filed with the paperwork. My father thought it was a waste of film. I told him it was documentation. Turns out I was right about that. Body came in on a Tuesday, October 2023. Kanawha Valley Transport brought him in around 2 in the afternoon. Male, 44 years old, single vehicle accident on Route 19, up near the Summersville curve where the guardrail ends. Name on the paperwork was Daniel Ray Purcell. I did the intake alone, always do. My assistant Linda, she handles phones and scheduling, but the intake is mine. Has been since day one. I wheeled him into the prep room, down in the old gymnasium basement, same room my grandfather poured the drain troughs in 60 years ago, and I started the process. Weight first, 207 pounds. Height, 5'11". I checked personal effects against the hospital inventory sheet. Everything matched. I signed the transfer form. The transport driver left. The prep room is quiet once the upstairs door closes. You hear the fluorescent lights. You hear the building settle. Old brick does that, especially in October when the temperature drops. The formaldehyde smell is always there, baked into the concrete after 70 years. What you notice is the silence. I did the external exam, standard. I noted everything for the file. There was a scar on the right knee, long, clean, surgical. ACL repair, probably 10 or 15 years old. Good work, probably a sports medicine guy. I noted a chipped left canine, upper jaw, old chip, smoothed down from years of wear. I noted a small mole on the left side of the neck just below the ear. I took 2 Polaroids, face and the knee scar, and I clipped them to the intake form. That's when something, I don't know, not a feeling exactly, more like a snag. Like when you're reading a page and your eye catches a word you've already read, but you can't find it again. I looked at his face and I knew it. Not, he looks familiar. Not, he reminds me of someone. I knew that face. I had seen it on my table before. I set the thought aside. 30 years, 4,000 bodies, some faces start to blend. That's what I told myself. I prepped the embalming machine, mixed the solution, standard index, 32 concentration, nothing special. I raised the right common carotid, the needle went in clean, I started the pump. The fluid went in the way it always goes in. Steady pressure, 16 ounces a minute. I watched for distribution, the hands first, then the face. Good color return, normal arterial resistance, normal drainage from the jugular. Everything about this body was textbook. I've embalmed farm workers and coal miners and school teachers and a state senator once, and every body responds a little different to the chemicals. This one responded correctly. The tissue firmed up at the right rate. The features set the way they're supposed to. I finished in 2 hours, washed the body, set the features, closed the mouth with a needle injector, positioned the hands. I pulled the sheet up to the chest and turned off the overhead light. Just the hallway fluorescent leaking under the door. I stood there looking at that face in the half-dark, and the snag came back. I knew that face. I locked the prep room. Went upstairs to the arrangement office. The Purcell family was coming in the morning to discuss services. I sat at my desk and opened a new file folder. Wrote Purcell, Daniel Ray on the tab. Clipped in the intake form, the Polaroids, the copy of the death certificate from the hospital. I put the folder in the active drawer. Went home, made a sandwich. Didn't eat it. I sat in my kitchen looking at the wall and trying to place that face. It wasn't a neighbor, wasn't a church member, wasn't someone from the grocery store. It was someone I'd had on my table, someone I'd embalmed, someone I'd photographed, documented, and filed. I went to bed at 10. By midnight, I gave up pretending to sleep. I drove back to the funeral home at 2 in the morning. October dark, no streetlights past the post office, just headlights cutting through valley fog. The building looked the way it always looks at night, brick and dark windows. I let myself in through the side entrance, the one that goes straight to the records room. The records room is the old coat closet from when this was a school. Narrow, no windows. 12 filing cabinets, floor to ceiling, holding every intake form, every death certificate copy, every Polaroid from 4,000 decedents. That room is the memory of every person who died in this valley for 70 years. I didn't know what I was looking for. That's not true. I knew exactly what I was looking for. I just didn't want to say it out loud. I started pulling files, not randomly. I was working from the feeling. That scar, the ACL repair, clean surgical work, and the tooth, the chipped canine. Those are the things you remember. Faces blend after a few years, but scars and dental work, those stay. I went through 2020, nothing. 2019, nothing. 2018, I kept pulling. October 2016, I stopped. Thomas Allen Greer, male, age 37, cause of death, sudden cardiac arrest, found at his residence by a neighbor. Single, no spouse, no children. Next of kin, mother Carol Greer and sister Pamela Greer Hobbs. Body received from the Raleigh County Medical Examiner's Office. I opened the file and there was the Polaroid, clipped to the intake form the way I always clip them, top left corner. It was the same face, not similar, not could be related. The same face, the same jaw, the same brow, the same set of the mouth. I held the Polaroid under the fluorescent light and I looked at it until my eyes ached. Then I pulled out my phone and looked at the photo I'd taken of Daniel Purcell 4 hours earlier. Same face. I sat down on the floor of the records room. 30 years and I'd never sat on that floor before. It was cold, concrete under thin carpet. I put the two files side by side on the floor and I went through them line by line. Thomas Allen Greer, born March 3, 1979, Raleigh County, West Virginia. Beckley ARH Hospital, height 5 feet 10.5 inches, weight 195 pounds, eyes brown, surgical scar, right knee, noted during external exam, chipped left upper canine, noted during external exam. Embalmed October 11, 2016, viewing October 13th. Burial at Westland Memorial Cemetery, Plot 47C, Section D. Daniel Ray Purcell, born June 17, 1979, Kanawha County, West Virginia. CAMC General Hospital. Height 5 feet 11 inches, weight 207 pounds. Eyes hazel. Surgical scar right knee, noted during external exam. Chipped left upper canine, noted during external exam. Embalmed October 15, 2023. Different counties, different hospitals, different mothers. Greer's mother was Carol, Purcell's was a woman named Sandra. Different heights by half an inch. Different weights by 12 pounds. Different eye color. Brown versus hazel. 7 years apart. But the face was the same face, and the scar was in the same place, same length, same angle, and the tooth was chipped in the same spot. I thought about twins, separated at birth, different families. It happens, I've seen documentaries, but twins don't have the same surgical scar. Twins don't chip the same tooth in the same place. And twins would at least have the same eye color. I pulled the embalming logs next. I keep detailed logs, solution index, injection rate, arterial resistance, drainage notes. Greer, October 2016, 32 index solution, 16 ounces per minute, arterial resistance at initial injection, 12 psi. Distribution pattern, hands first, then face, then lower extremities. Drainage normal, dark, slowing at 90 minutes. Purcell, October 2023, 32 index solution, 16 ounces per minute, arterial resistance at initial injection, 12 psi. Distribution pattern, hands first, then face, then lower extremities. Drainage normal, dark, slowing at 90 minutes. Same solution, same rate, same resistance, same pattern, same drainage. In 4,000 embalmings, I have never had two bodies respond identically. The chemistry of dead tissue is as individual as a fingerprint. Different body fat, different hydration, different medication history. It all changes how the fluid moves. These two bodies took the embalming the same way, like they were the same body. I closed both files, sat in the dark. The building made its noises, pipes cooling, the furnace cycling. Somewhere in the basement, the prep room drain gurgled the way it always does when the temperature drops. I drove home. I didn't sleep. The Purcell family came in at 9. Mother, Sandra, mid-60s, the kind of woman who holds herself together because she doesn't know any other way. Sister, younger, maybe 30, kept touching her own face. Girlfriend, red-eyed, quiet, sat in the corner and didn't speak for 20 minutes. I went through the arrangements: casket selection, service time, flowers, obituary, guest register, the death certificate, copies for insurance, standard. My voice does it without me, which was good because my mind was in the records room. The sister brought photos. She always had her phone out, swiping through pictures of Daniel. Birthday parties, a fishing trip, him standing next to a truck with mud on the tires. I looked at those photos the way I look at everything now, checking. The face in the photos was the face on my table, and the face on my table was the face in the Greer file. I asked the question as carefully as I could. Did Daniel have any brothers? A twin, maybe? Sandra looked at me. Only child, she said. Why do you ask? I said it was just for the obituary. She accepted that. People accept almost anything from a funeral director. We're the last people they want to argue with. I asked about the knee. Football, the sister said. Sophomore year, ACL. He was so mad he couldn't play senior season. I asked about the tooth. Sandra almost smiled. Jawbreaker. He was 9. I told him not to bite it. They chose a mahogany casket with cream interior. Thursday viewing, Friday service, burial at Mountain View, not Restland, different cemetery. They left at 11. Then I drove to Restland Memorial Cemetery. Plot 47C, Section D, small gray headstone. Thomas Allen Greer, March 3, 1979, October 9, 2016. Beloved son and brother. The ground was undisturbed, grass grown thick after 7 years. Faded plastic flowers in a metal vase, the Greer family's spring visit. I stood there looking at the ground and I thought about what was under it. A mahogany casket. The Greers had chosen mahogany too. Inside, a body I had embalmed. A body with this face. This exact face. I went back to the truck. I pulled the Greer file up on my phone. I'd photographed the pages the night before. I found the next of kin contact. Pamela Greer Hobbs. I dialed. She answered on the 3rd ring. She remembered me. You took such good care of Thomas, she said. Her mother's health was declining, but they still visited every spring. He was a good man, she said. I asked if Thomas had any family they didn't know about. A half-brother. Someone from before. She went quiet. Thomas was an only child, she said. Just us and Mom. I thanked her. Hung up. 2 only children. Born the same year, 3 months apart, in different counties to different mothers, in different hospitals. Same face, same scar, same tooth, same way of taking embalming fluid. Thursday came, the viewing. Daniel Ray Purcell in the mahogany casket. Maybe 60 people. I stood in the back the way I always do, hands folded. After everyone left, I locked the front door. I went down to the arrangement office and I opened both files. Purcell, Greer, side by side. I looked at the Polaroids. 2 different men who had the same face. 2 different families who grieved the same way. 2 different graves that held. I don't know what they held. I never ordered an exhumation. I know the process. County, paperwork, court order. I've done it twice in 30 years. I could have done it. I didn't, because I didn't want to know what was in Plot 47C. If it was Thomas Greer, then who was Daniel Purcell? If it was empty, then who did I bury in 2016? And if it was something else? I didn't want to be the one to open that lid. I sold the funeral home 11 months later, told people I was tired. Both things were true. They just weren't the reason. I still have copies of both files, 2 intake forms, 2 death certificates, 2 sets of Polaroids, 2 families who loved 2 men with the same face, the same scars, and the same way their tissue took 32 index embalming solution at 16 ounces a minute. I don't know what it means. I've stopped trying to figure it out. I just know that my records don't lie, and Polaroids don't lie, and embalming logs don't lie. Something in this valley does, though. Something in this valley lies about who people are.